What is cracking, Hope Nation? It's your friendly neighborhood, Kevin Hines, and today is going to be a phenomenal day. And I'll tell you why. Well, you're going to learn why in just a moment. But what if storytelling saved lives? What if media could heal minds, shift culture, and transform broken systems into pathways of hope? Today, you are about to meet a man doing exactly that. Our guest today on the HINESIGHTS Podcast is the ever incredible Michael Vanzetta, visionary founder of Pizetta Media, a purpose-driven media force dedicated to mental health awareness, human connection, powerful storytelling, and meaningful social change. Michael is not just creating content. He's building bridges between pain and purpose, between struggle and strength, between silence and truth. Through film, digital media, and emotionally resonant storytelling, Michael and Pizetta Media are helping reshape how the world sees brain and mental health, how we speak about it, and how we act to support those around us who are struggling with it. His work lives in the intersection of compassion, creativity, and, of course, courage. He is telling the stories that matter most, stories that open hearts, stories that change systems forever, and stories that remind people all around us that we are not alone. This is a conversation about purpose-driven media, mental health advocacy, storytelling is healing, and the power of one voice to ignite global change. Michael, my brother, welcome to the HINESIGHTS Podcast. We're glad to have you.
Thanks for having me. That was the best intro I ever gotten, so thank you.
As I always say on this show, I take pride in my intros. They're very important to me. All right, brother. Well, my first question for you is a key one. It's the most important question I ask all of my guests on the HINESIGHTS Podcast. Michael, how is your mental health today truly, and what practices keep you grounded while doing such emotionally powerful work?
Yeah, the past few weeks has been pretty good. I have been positive. I've gotten a lot of good feedback from people, talking to people, doing a lot of interviews, talking to people, because that's therapy for me, talking to other people with lived experiences. So that helps me a lot. So that's one thing. And then I'm a video editing nerd, so I love editing. That is like my calmness, my meditation, if you will. So I do that. And then I always take medication and see a therapist and do all that to make sure I'm up and up.
Good. And I want to know, Michael, I want to know where Pizetta Media came from. Obviously, I know that it's the combination of your wife's last name and your
Yes.
last name, but could you tell us that story of how it all came to be?
Yeah, I was in broadcasting for over 20 years at that point, and a lot of the videos are just negative or doesn't really tell a story. It's not human focused. So I always wanted to do that at some point. But then in 2019, just 6.5 years ago, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder 2. And then I was looking online to see videos of just anyone succeeding with any mental illness, and I couldn't find those really. So then I decided that I could do this, and along with my wife, created Pizetta Media. And then the past few years, people have been trusting me with their stories, and I can't believe it because I come from broadcasting, but behind the scenes. So, but this mission's so important to me. I'm in front of the camera, which sometimes makes it nervous, but people like talking to me. So that's pretty awesome.
It's pretty clear, Michael, that people love talking to you, sharing their stories with you, telling their truths to you, and you showcase them in a way that is kind and compassionate, endearing, meaningful, and hopeful. And that's pretty incredible. What was the defining moment that led you to create Pizetta Media and really dedicate your life purpose to storytelling?
It happened more when I was away from corporate. So when I was diagnosed, I started telling some people at work and my boss, and then HR found out, and then they said, well, if you tell people, that's going to make them feel uncomfortable. So I thought, oh, I have this illness that is bad and wrong, and I shouldn't say anything. So I didn't say anything until I found another job where I told them, and they said, yeah, whatever you need. So then that gave me the confidence to create my own business. And then that morphed into creating more personal stories, because it started as just like creating public domain content for a TV channel. So it definitely has evolved to more of what my voice and I want to use that voice for.
Incredible. How do you see on a global conversations, how do you see media shaping this conversation around mental health and emotional well-being? Just I'm talking about traditional media
Yeah.
versus what you're doing. How do you see that conversation being shaped?
They have a lot of power and a lot of ways to amplify a mission, and I think they don't do the best job at it. So I think instead of just focusing on the quality of the content, on the heart of the content and really how it could shape people. Because a lot of when I was first diagnosed, I didn't know anyone going through it. And if I had a TV channel with people going through it, I'd be like, yes, that's what I'm going through. I'm not alone. So that's the big thing. And media has that power. It has the best clear way of communication of watching something and realizing we're similar. We're not alone.
We're similar. We're not alone. We're in this together. And you're really doing something very special that changes hearts and minds, which is incredible and important. I want to ask you, Michael, what story or project that you worked on in the past that has impacted you the most personally and why? If you can find just one.
Yeah, so I created a mini documentary about this crisis receiving center that's in Prince William County, Virginia, which that's where I'm at. So they created this for youth and adults to go to this facility if they're having a mental health crisis. So instead of going to the hospital or even jail, they're going to this facility where it's comforting for them. So I wanted to learn more. So I talked to police, I talked to public officials, mental health officials, people all a part of it. So I got to really understand what these issues are of people going through mental health and then getting handcuffed in hospitals. So having something like the crisis receiving center to realize anyone could come anytime will help you. And just knowing something like that exists in my community, I thought that was great.
That's incredible. I vividly remember being at my clinic and having a mental breakdown years ago, and having the police be called. And right in front of my favorite cafe where I went every single day, right across the street from the clinic, having the squad car come, the officers pull me out of the clinic by my shoulders with my hands handcuffed behind my back. The least is to say is that it was a very embarrassing and horrific moment for me, having that happen right in front of certainly the owner of the cafe that I frequented every day, who was a friend of mine, not to mention all the people that I knew in the cafe. And then we were driving by the school I used to work at, and one of the students was walking by, and he saw me handcuffed in a police car. I had a horrible feeling that stuck with me for a very long time. It really broke me down in the moment. So I do appreciate what you're doing for people with that documentary. How can people view that documentary?
It's on my Pizetta Media YouTube page.
Incredible.
I try to put it on the home screen because I'm really proud of that one, how that turned out. So if I make it easier for people to see that one.
Good. What's it called?
It's just called Prince William County Crisis Receiving Center. I
Okay.
I need to work on my titles, but that's what it is. So that's what I named it. Yes.
There we go. I still love what you're doing. So I want to ask you, Michael, how does powerful storytelling like yours, like the media you and your wife create, how does it reduce discrimination, increase empathy, and inspire real world action?
I think a lot of conversations that I have aren't public at all. Trying to amplify and publicize these. And I talk about my personal story a lot in the things to try to help viewers understand it's relatable for me. It's going to be relatable for you as well. So just, I think that's the challenge of getting these private conversations out there. So people are nervous, but some people want to share their stories. So when I'm doing an interview and someone talks about either eating disorder or mental illness right in the first 25 seconds, you're realizing these are going to be real, raw conversations and ones that need to be told because you don't get them anywhere else, really.
This is an important one. What systems do you believe need the most transformation right now in brain and mental health, media and society at large?
I think a lot of the mental health industry is siloed. So you have either the media side and then the lived experience side, science and health all together. I think if they work together and realize they're equally important, especially I think lived experience needs to be at the table more, because I think that's a big thing. It's not like it's a study or a job. This is real life for us. This is what we go through every day. So I think having more of a say in how it's worked out of with all these groups, I think that's the way to go.
I couldn't agree more, actually. That's an incredible answer to that question. Michael, how do you balance your creative excellence with emotional authenticity when telling stories about pain, trauma, and recovery?
It is tough. I try to balance it out, but the sad thing is when I was in broadcast, there was like so many bad stories. So I definitely had to separate it, because if I just listen to fires, robberies, shootings all the time, I would never go outside. I'd be in a corner of my house. So
Yeah.
having that, understanding that, and then talking these stories, because a lot of these stories do have, yes, maybe they start sad or down, but they're lifted up. People are doing amazing things. That's what we need to be talked about more of, like, how is this person overcoming adversity?
Overcoming adversity and then going to give back to their community and change the lives of others. That's what really matters. Those are the stories that shape systems and lives and livelihoods. Michael, what role do film, digital media, and narrative storytelling play in, as we just discussed, in changing hearts, even influencing policy, and even saving lives?
I like what you said with policy, because I was just at a event in Washington, D.C., talking about brain stuff with brain side effects and all that. Uh, and mental health, and talking to people not understanding some of it. So having a video helping people understand things, that could help policy, and that could help save lives. I think that's a big thing, is creating empathy for these stories so people could be like, that's what that person's going through. I didn't realize that. So if they're thinking like that, and the easiest way to get in their homes is media, either films, and you do some amazing work with films, and that impacts people in a great way as well.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. And I do agree with you. Media is the fastest way to reach anyone right now around the world, in every language, in every medium. It's the fastest way to reach anybody right now, from new media to traditional media to innovative media. It's all out there. For creators who want to use their voice to make a difference like you and I are, what is the most important mindset they must develop?
Don't give up, because sometimes when you're creating this stuff, it feels like there's a million steps of getting the right interview, getting the right feedback, and all that. So it gets frustrating at times. So you can't give up, especially there's a lot of things. I probably ask like 100 people for an interview and I hear back from 4. So it takes a little bit, but I got to realize, okay, these 4 conversations are going to be much more important, and focus on them. So I think that's the big thing. It does get frustrating, but don't give up, because getting these stories out there is more important. I can't do all these stories on my own. Anyone else who could do it, I mean, that's going to help these people.
Yeah, keep going. If you're in media and you're worried about the paycheck that's next coming, or you're worried about making that next impact, and you feel downtrodden, or you feel like nothing you do is working, don't give up. That's just a sign to say, keep going. You're going to get there. Michael, I think you have something like over 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's about 100 right now.
It's at 100 right now. Oh, wow. I missed the last one, the last update. That's incredible. 100,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel. I have to say, Michael, for a mental health channel, that is purely incredible. You are ahead of the curve and ahead of the game in many ways. And you're reaching so many people through your media outlets and through your website. And now, is it safe to talk about your new partnership?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you break down what's just occurred with Pizetta Media.
Yeah, so I'm now working with Cloudcast Media to create content and podcasts in the Washington, D.C. area. I worked on a few podcasts already with Cloudcast. Charles, who's doing amazing things in the community and telling stories that aren't really getting heard. So, getting stories. One, I worked on a podcast called Uncontrollable with Cloudcast. It was two college freshmen talking about mental health and what they go through, and hearing those stories, like them talking about OCD and things they're going through, realize that they are much braver than when I was their age talking about these stories. Having someone as a partner with like Cloudcast who understand what stories need to be told, it makes it much easier. It makes me not going at it alone. So working with their team has been great.
That's incredible. Congratulations on the big update and the big new effort there with Cloudcast. That's incredible. And is that to focus more on local stories?
Yes. So there's a focus on AI and DC. There's a lot of policymakers, so we'll do that. But a lot of these stories have national appeal, but they're on a local thing because you could relate to either mental health stories or what's going on in the Latin community or any of these other podcasts they have, a nonprofit sector. So people can relate. So I think that's the big thing. Have it feel local, but people can relate to it. And Cloudcast does a great job at doing that.
Oh, that's incredible. I'm so excited for you. Michael,
Thank you.
final question. When you look ahead, what is the future vision for Pizetta Media with Cloudcast and the legacy you hope your work leaves in this world?
I always think I want to be the next Ted Turner of mental health media. So I want to be everywhere, film, TV, podcasts, creating stuff. There's a lot of ways to help train AI in emotional content. I want to be a part of that. So I want to do everything I can, create as many documentaries as possible. That's my goal in life, because right now it's just me trying to create as many as I can. So having a team or a large organization, that would be amazing to get it out. And I'm going to do it. That's my goal.
Michael, I know you're going to do it because you're already doing incredible things and you're just on your way upwards and onwards. So that's incredible. There it is, folks. What a powerful, moving, important, and meaningful conversation we just had with Michael Vanzetta of Pizetta Media. He is living proof that storytelling is not just art, it's impact, it's healing, it's transformation in motion. Through Pizetta Media and Cloudcast, Michael is helping reshape how the world understands brain and mental health, how media can serve humanity, and his work reminds us that stories are not just words or images. Stories are bridges to hope. Stories are catalysts for change. Stories are lifelines for people who feel unseen and unheard. Michael, from the bottom of my heart and everyone at Hindsights Productions and Hindsights Podcast, thank you for your heart, your courage, and your compassion, your relentless dedication to using media for good. Thank you for telling stories that matter, that are meaningful, that change lives, and for helping build a world where people feel less alone and more understood. To everyone listening, viewing, watching, and subscribing today to the Hindsights Podcast, remember this: your story matters, your life matters, you matter, and your voice has power, and healing is always possible. My name is Kevin Hines, and this is the Hindsights Podcast with our guest today, Mr. Michael Vanzetta of Pizetta Media. Friends, stay kind, stay courageous, and always keep fighting for hope. And whatever you do, be here tomorrow and every single day after that. And if nobody else says it today, we love you and we want you to stay. Thank you very much.